All right, for our next part of the drawing, we're going to add on a balcony. So on the front corner of the house, we'll place two dots that show how tall this balcony is. To make it stick off perpendicularly from the left wall, we're going to line up our ruler with the right vanishing point and draw lines from those dots that go off to the left. Now we connect those two perspective lines together with a vertical line. After erasing the excess converging lines, we're going to take the top and bottom of that vertical line and then the point where the balcony touches the house and connect all of those to the left vanishing point. This is just like how we made the porch, except that it's in a different part of the house. Notice I'm taking our perspective lines all the way back to the vanishing point. Now this is one of those instances where we have to use very, very fine detail. Make sure you have a good point on your pencil. Line up the far bottom edge of the porch with the right vanishing point and draw forward until you hit the next converging line, and then connect the top two converging lines together with a vertical line. You may need to watch this portion again so that you can see exactly what I've done and replicate that on your drawing. I'm shading in the underside of this balcony so that we can tell that it is below or blocked from the sun. And I'm just taking a moment to clean up the top edge of the balcony. The next thing we're going to draw are the windows that are on the second floor. We start with a vertical line that shows where the closest part of the windows are to us. Connect the top of that vertical line to the left vanishing point, and then draw it over across that side of the house. We're going to finish that off with a vertical line. To break this large rectangle into window portions or window panes, we'll first use a perspective line that goes to the left vanishing point to divide that space in half, and then we're going to lay in vertical lines to break it into individual vertical panes of glass. The next portion of what I want us to do is to erase anything that is in the front of the house, this right side of the house. The X, the horizon line that crosses over the house, any of these lines that we've established to kind of build the basic structure, let's erase those things so we have a clean, flat space to work with. To begin, we're going to establish the long window that's on the top of the house. And so I'm first on the second story of the house. The first thing I'm doing is drawing two perspective lines that go to the right vanishing point to establish the top and bottom of the edge of the windows. And now I'm using vertical lines to enclose that rectangle. Much like we did on the left windows, we're going to divide that space in half using a perspective line that goes to the right vanishing point. And now we're going to break that into individual panes by using vertical lines. Be really careful to make sure your lines are perfectly straight up and down. Once we've established this top window, we're going to jump down to our tall rounded windows that are on the right-hand side. Let's keep in mind that these windows start off as rectangles. So I'll begin with a vertical line that goes from the porch up as high as I want that window to go. And then I'm going to take the top of that vertical line back to the vanishing point on the right. I'm establishing the top edge of the windows for both the window that's close to us and the window that's further away. Now I'm enclosing those with another vertical line for each of those two windows. And what we have are tall, skinny, rectangular boxes sitting on those walls. If we look at the original photo, those windows cut back into the wall. They sit into the wall. And so I'm going to take the lower right-hand corner of the close window, connect it to the left vanishing point, and then I'm going to create a vertical line and then go to the bottom, connect it to the right vanishing point, and drag over towards across the bottom of the opening of that window. Now I'll erase where the wall was, and you can see it begins to appear like that window cuts into the wall. The next thing we need to do is connect the corners together using an X. And what that's going to do is help us find the middle of this box, because we need to round the top of this window. And so now I'll create a vertical line to find the very top center of that box. I want to decide where I want the curve of the window to begin. So using the right vanishing point, I'm going to divide off like the top quarter of the window. And now from where that perspective line hits the left edge of my window, I'm going to curve up until I hit the center of the box, and then curve back down until I hit the bottom of that smaller rectangle area. I'm repeating that process now on the far window. Again, because this is a multi-step detailed process, you'll find it helpful to pause, rewind, rewatch, so that you can really see what's taking place here. Even curves are in perspective. Now this window sits into the wall. So once I've erased our excess information here, the corners on the top and the X that's inside of the window, I'm going to need to curve the wall that's inside of the window as well, this wall that's on the right side of the window. And that curve is going to continue just a little past the center point, the top center, and then taper into the window frame. And we would repeat that process on the window that's further away as well. Now, we'll begin the doorway. The doorway is essentially a square sitting on the wall. So we start with the vertical, connect that to the right vanishing point, the same vanishing point that the top and bottom of this wall goes to, and then we cap it off with another vertical line. This doorway also sits into the wall. It's recessed. So we'll go to the lower right-hand corner and connect that to the left vanishing point and drag back slightly. I'm going to make a vertical line. Okay. Now I notice that the top corner of the doorway is above the horizon, and so the top corner needs to connect to the left vanishing point and drag downward until it hits my vertical. And now I can show that very skinny inner top part of the doorway by connecting to the right vanishing point. Similarly, I'm going to connect the bottom of my doorway to the right vanishing point and drag across the door. And now I can erase where the wall used to be inside of the doorway. Now, when we look at this doorway, we may notice that there's a window to the right of the door. And so I'm going to start by creating that window using a vertical, the right vanishing point, and then another vertical line. Allows me to divide off that window space that is to the right of the door. And now I'm going to use another vertical line to divide my two doors, and a couple of little dots will act as doorknobs. The windows are divided into window panes, and so I'll use the right vanishing point to break those windows into window panes.